Hey, hi everyone. This is Nilesh, and today I have Ravi with me, and we are going to talk about his iOS journey and on Swift UI, like how his experience with Swift UI. Handing to Ravi. Hey, hi Ravi.
Uh, Hi, Nilesh. Thank you for this opportunity. So, and thanks for inviting me to your podcast. And let me introduce myself. I'm Kanagasabapathy Rajkumar, and you can call me Sabha. And I have 10 years of experience into iOS, uh, uh, majorly specialized into iOS. And uh, I have developed applications since Objective-C and transitioned to Swift programming languages. And
Mm-hmm.
I have developed applications which are in different domains, healthcare, restaurant-based, educational, MBLE, and all those steps. And to stay updated in iOS ecosystems, I'm regularly attending the meetups, and I have recently gave speech as well, and writing in blogs on Medium articles, now into podcast. So thank you. And this is my basic introduction.
So, like how you got into this medium, writing into this just for learning and then sharing the knowledge with the iOS community.
Yes. I started writing a blog for iOS interview questions while preparing, and then I thought of sharing with other developers. And slowly started showing interest to the writing a blogs on what I'm learning and which is related to latest updates.
Yeah, I think that's really a good thing because when you write a blog, obviously you will make sure that you are learning a lot to write that. It's just not like that you will always go with a 30% or 40% knowledge on that topic. So that one thing I also have realized when making any video. So first I make sure that I know enough so that I can make my audience understand that topic very easy.
Exactly, and I like your videos, and there are so many basics you have shared that really helped me to learn also. Right.
So how you came into iOS? Like it was like most of the I think in India it's just not a matter of choice. It's like the matter of the choice of the company, like no, which you joined after your college placement. So was it the same for you as well?
Actually, I started my software engineering career with Java. So it's a web-based one.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, Java and .NET was there. So I chose the Java part, and then I learned something in jQuery. It was 1 to 2 years, and later, I'm so interested with the mobile technologies. So especially iOS. So I got an opportunity with one of the US-based company.
Mm-hmm.
So around 2014, and I started developing iOS application. JDC is like a kind of objective uh, programming, so it's similar to Java. So it helped me to learn faster, so and much easier when compared to other languages. So that's how I started the iOS career.
So so how is it is going on? Like, do you think that it's a right path, or you should learn something other apart from iOS also to grow more in your career at this stage?
I feel like iOS is growing because the Apple has introduced many new things, like Swift programming, modern one, and they are introducing many things. I think and the iOS will sustain longer, and anyways, like we should learn some more things like cross-platform, Flutters, and all React Native. But I try to stick with the iOS, and I wanted to learn more in especially the ARKit or some new things so that to stay updated in this industry. I feel like this is the right path I have taken. I'm just continuing with same.
Yeah, ARKit, like last week, I was having a podcast with Nikhil, and he is having, I think, a great work in the ARKit. Like, I have not seen any other. developer doing so much um, development, research on that, and he has nice course and lot of video. Like he's completely focusing himself on the AR and VR of the iOS. Like iOS is good, but what I personally feel that once you grow in your career, like once you cross 10 12 year experience, specifically in India domain, um, getting job just with iOS is little difficult. Like when you switch to market, and have like 5 6 years, 7 year, 8 year, 10 years, fine. But once you start, reaching that 12 plus year, company thinks that you should know something apart from iOS. Let's
Yes,
say
yes.
that either iOS plus Android, where you can lead a mobile team, okay, or maybe iOS with knowledge of the backend. Let's say that where you can be a full stack developer.
Yeah.
So something other than iOS, I think at after 12 13 years of experience will be required, as per as my thinking, to always
Yeah.
make sure that you have enough opportunity in your dream. So as we know, the India market is too competitive, right? Like, yeah.
Yes, yes, exactly. Actually, if you see nowadays that applicants for the iOS development is more when compared to when I joined. So now
Yeah,
I think it's really tough. And most of the companies are expecting some cross-platform.
yeah,
So
anything like on top of your so you might have heard about something called a T factor in any organization. So where you have uh, like if you see T, one is a vertical, like so one is your main domain. Let's say that you are in iOS, so your that T is your iOS, and then the horizontal part is your other technology. So that okay, you have a understanding and good knowledge of that, and you are expert in one thing. So maybe like for you, you are expert in iOS, and then let's say that if you have a good knowledge of Android or Flutter or any other thing, so that if you get a chance, you can work it. So it's not like that you have to always stick with just iOS in case let's say that project is not available, or any other scenarios like that.
yes, exactly.
So how is Swift UI journey going on for you?
It's really initially it was really complicated. Now I feel I'm thrilled to work with Swift UI, and uh, and it has a good thing like declarative programming where we just give the things and then the system works for you. Then we can make some changes. That is a really a good thing. There are so many things that we can able to preview the changes and all those things. We can write a subuse. Uh, when compared to UIKit, I feel it's more, but it's still yet to mature. And I'm trying in different levels and different states. Uh, and here the states rules everything, right? So I'm just learning those things and developing right now.
Yeah, like if you see, everything is going declarative, not just Swift UI. If you see, even the
Yeah.
Android, we have Jetpack Compose, which is again declarative. Like, so yeah, declarative. I think that's one great thing I see in Swift UI. And the other thing is that the Swift UI is value type. So the problem of memory references,
Memory.
memory
Yeah.
leaks, those are not there in the Swift UI because of the value type nature. So that's key because Apple is now, they launched Swift. Well, mostly if you see the Swift components are value type, then Swift UI. So there, I think if you start developing, there are very less chances that you will occur with memory leakage, or unless you are doing something very bad in your languages. Navigation was very bad
Yes, yes.
initially.
Yeah, really bad. Yeah. Yeah, there are some pitfalls of using SwiftUI, and we need to integrate UIKit into SwiftUI project through yeah. So that we need to that Apple has to provide a solution for that. Now they have removed these wrappers also, right, in the new version in iOS 17, like observation framework. So that brings a lot flexibility, like a state
Yeah,
binary
yeah, they
and
have.
environment. Yeah.
Yeah, they introduced that like instead of now confirming to observable object, writing publish property, you can just directly make the class observable. Yeah. So that removes the extras piece of code.
extra
Yeah,
task.
yeah, they are making Swift UI better day by day. So how you are finding designing a screen comparatively easy in Swift UI rather than the UI kit?
Yeah, like here, like we have a different modifiers, view modifiers, and there are many advanced concepts like advanced gesture state, those things. And so here we can able to just write the piece of code the system returns, and then we just modify it. But in like UIKit, it's imperative programming, right? So we need to send a set of rules, and this is how my view should be there. So if not, there will be some messy things happen. So even till now, like they have upgraded for UIKit, but still in some cases we have some issues. So in the constraint spot, I feel Swift UI brings a better uh, modularity. And like UIKit, sometimes we struggle a lot, and that keeps messy. And I feel like you said, like still we are depending on some AI kit components. So I think using the view representable, we are able to achieve those tasks. And yeah, now like the state is really good. Earlier we are that the UI kit tends to change the behavior of certain text field or a pattern. So now we are able to understand the initial value and then the transform value. Earlier we it tends to change, and it's lost the synchronization. Now I feel 50, but it will take some time to get a better framework, I feel.
Yeah. So did you get anywhere any scenario like that? Okay, if I would have been using UI kit, I would have been able to design this screen much easier than using it Swift in Swift UI.
Uh, I I think a collection view, I feel I was able to draw it better in SwiftUI. And table also is very easy. But even though a table view is very easy in it's a daily, yeah, all projects we implement those things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, than that, it has a combined integration, right? So I feel the subscribing the changes and observing the changes is much easier in SwiftUI. But in UIKit, we need to add more components to uh, to observe the changes, especially like MVVM. So it works both in UIKit and SwiftUI. But I feel in SwiftUI it works well.
So which architecture are you using for developing your application in Swift UI?
MVVM, and in my the work projects and all based on MVVM plus SwiftUI, and I integrate some of the UI kits. And in terms of personal project, I started learning something in TCA, the composable architecture. That is really helpful for SwiftUI. But just like started with the basics. I'm learning. It's very the learning curve of TCA is very tough, and we must implement in the real time projects.
Yeah, it is based on Redux architecture. Like
Really,
Redux is very popular
the
in
JavaScript.
JavaScript side. So I worked on Redux architecture, I think around 4 or 5 years back in one of the real-time projects, and yeah, it's good, especially in terms of data management. In MVVM, yeah, we come with multiple scenario like let's say that if we have to pass data, okay, and because we don't have any kind of a root class in MVVM which stores also all the data, right? Let's say that if we use some sort of dependency injection to inject data and then keep passing it to the further state. But in the case of Redux architecture, what you have, your all the data is with one state. So if the project is big, what people do that they divide the state into further module level, but at the root you have just one state, and then maybe at the module level you have further state. So you don't need to worry about the data. Whenever you have to get any data, you have to just inject your root state or any of that state, and then you will get the data directly. So and other advantage what I've seen with Redux, I've not one work more with TCA, but in the Redux we have something called reducer, right?
Reducer, yeah,
And
the same
yeah,
thing.
and reducer is only responsible for modifying your data.
Yeah.
So like in MVVM, you can modify your data. Generally, we should do either at let's say the view model has that capacity to modify that view. Sometimes we also do in view, which is not a good practice. So in Redux, like it's with reducer. So the advantage what you get that you always know that if something is wrong with your data, then which class is responsible, because apart from reducer you cannot modify your data anywhere else. So the debugging becomes easy. I use Redux with basically with view model. So I was having a view model and which was talking to the
Okay.
listening to the state changes. So basically how it was working, that whenever your state change, it notifies that change. Basically it works on notification. We can have a notification pattern, and whichever the view model or your view is listening to that change, they will accordingly update your UI. Not sure about how
Yeah.
TC works, but that was the principle that
Yeah.
we were using. Uh,
Yeah. Here also it's the same thing, like state action reducer. So
yeah.
reducer will, that is a pure function that transform the state, I mean, with the set of actions. And
Actions are basically your enums, right? Where you define all
yeah,
the yeah, all
yeah.
your that what you need to do, and then actions are implemented by your reducers, basically like what to do.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's a good design pattern. Let's say how
Yeah.
popular it becomes. Like, see, maybe there are some design patterns which are very too good, but if it's complicated to use, then it will not become very popular. Like, so there are lots of design pattern, right? We have Viper also, but
Yes.
the thing with MVVM is that it's very easy. Like, maybe
Very easy to.
you are not implementing MVVM in 100% correct way. Okay, you are doing something wrong in your view model, something wrong in your view, but that is structures, like what I have seen in most of the code, that if you ask someone that what is model in MVVM, okay, so the answer will be like model is your structure or the model. That's how the answer lies. But model is actually not just your struct, right? It's the whole classes that are responsible for getting the data. For example, you have your repository class which is responsible for getting the data. That's also part of your model layer. So
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
so if you see, many people will have different version of MVVM, but in somehow they're able to implement it because it's a straightforward. But when you go with, let's say, Viper, you end up having too many protocols. So maybe in the future we'll have, if it is no, like at some stage, if let's say that TC is solving very specific problem which are almost not possible to
Yes,
solve using MVVM, it will become more popular in those scenarios. I heard
yes,
in between there were so many different architectures like MV when the Swift UI specifically
yes,
came.
yes.
But
MVVM
yeah,
C, right?
and
.NET.
I heard about that model view. Many people were like, okay, view itself is a view model. They started calling in Swift UI, but the thing is that it's always good to separate your view with your log business logic or view logic. So for example, let's say that if your project is in MVC and you want to convert your storyboard to UIKit, you will have to have do lot of rework in terms of, for example, you have to move many code which are written in your controller, because now once you move to SwiftUI, you will not have the controller, right? So the rework will be more. But let's say that if you have implemented in proper MVVM architecture, okay, now you have to migrate to SwiftUI. So your controller is having very less code because it was just managing the actions between your UI kit and view model. So if you build a Swift UI, your view model code will just like for example, it will change for the way it was interacting with your view. For example, maybe you were using protocol delegate. Now that will not work with Swift UI. You have to move it to published thing. So
Yes.
the the changes are very less, so you are able to migrate easily. So your design pattern should be that, let's say that you don't know about in the future, maybe some other thing comes. Right now we have Swift UI, we had UI kit, maybe some other kit will come, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
and it's not like that when you're writing the code, you are just writing for next 1 year or 2 year. Maybe your project is good, it will go for next 10 years. So the code should be written in such a way that how the code will survive for the next 10 years with the changes in the technology, with the changes in the framework. It should be able to accommodate all the changes into your code.
If you see in the Swift UI, some new things have come, so that doesn't have the support in the previous versions. So in that, we need to upgrade everything.
Yeah. So how you see hybrid, like we have iOS, we have Android, but now if you see Flutter, um, we
Yeah,
have React Native is still popular.
yeah,
But if you see, Google is also working on um, Compose multi-platform. Have you seen that? Like where they are using their Compose, which is used to develop the Android application, to use the same UI on the iOS side. So, like
yeah.
first
Okay.
they introduced KMM, like Kotlin multi-platform, where you can share the business logic. Like let's say that have the business logic as same, and you develop your UI in Swift UI for iOS and Jetpack Compose for Android. But now, as a part of next level, they have introduced Compose multi-platform, where you can even develop the UI in Compose only, which will run on both
Yes,
iOS and
yes,
Android.
yes,
We,
yes, exactly.
we have
I
to.
should take care on the across platform also. And
Yeah.
I see the composite patterns are really good in both uh, Android and iOS, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So how
Uh,
your day-to-day journey goes? Like, do you, apart from work, do you do any side projects for your learning?
yeah, I'm just doing projects, normal projects only. I'm trying for other projects if possible. I will get. Nowadays, I'm exploring some new things in Swift UI and trying with the TCA. That's a new one.
I'll wait for your then blogs on the TC. Like once you get get
I
in.
have written a blog on getting started with TCA, so I
Okay.
will share the link.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I will be posting some new things Medium, and I'm really excited to see your in a new videos. I think in S50i
Eh,
and combine and
yeah. So actually, yeah. Currently, I'm working on one of like many people ask me to have one, like a project which takes or gives you a glimpse of how industry level project works. So I'm just completing that series right now. So I just found an app, Bhagavad Gita. So they have the free API.
yes,
So
yes,
so
yes.
you.
So have you started with the Metal framework? That is now it's getting uh, gaining the popularity as well.
I used Metal 3 4 year back for rendering. Like I was working on a project uh, where we were flying a drone from the mobile app, and we were rendering lot of graphical data on the iPad basically. For that, we use the Metal Kit framework too. So, have they released anything new in the Metal Kit?
Uh, I think recently I'm not sure with that, but just I came to know that is gaining popularity and the
Yeah,
nowadays in India, they are asking for metal with Swift UI. That is a new thing.
yeah, like Metal. Yeah, I'm not sure how much Metal will is used in a normal iOS project where you have simple APIs call going on and coming on. They have very specific use. We have to render a lot of 3D, 2D data. So still have to see. But yeah,
Yeah.
like if you see in Apple domain, they have more than 100 of the frameworks. the many frameworks.
Yes, yes.
We don't
So
even,
many.
yeah, we don't even remember. It all based on the use cases. Uh, I think what most important right now in your CV is to have Swift UI combined, because those are the latest framework. I think definitely if you go for interview, people will ask for Swift UI experience. Then yeah, apart from that, the UI kit and these all things are always there with you. Do you have anything other to discuss?
I think like nowadays the new concurrency has been added, right? I'm not sure how combined framework will work in future. That's my uh, thought.
Not like, yes. See, combine offers lot of thing. Um, I personally also have used combine very limited. Like uh, one thing is writing my network layer. There
Right.
I have
Okay.
used combine. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was a great discussion we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining, and hope we meet again.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
again for
Bye
having.
bye.